Longevity through health age extension, a new view with viscoplastic energy. Number 1234, VMT Sharp 619, March 22, 2025. By Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation. Category: Longevity. Key messages: what if we could measure how old we truly are, not by the calendar, but by the health of our bodies? Under this groundbreaking thought, the author blends traditional medical science with material science and physics-based viscoplastic energy modeling to do just that. Using over a decade of personal data, he investigates how two chronic conditions, obesity and type 2 diabetes, and two lifestyle factors, food portion size and daily exercise, interact to shape not just life expectancy, but what he calls effective health age. He starts with established medical knowledge. Obesity and diabetes are not just standalone conditions. They drive the most common causes of death worldwide: heart disease, kidney failure, and cancer. But he goes a step further. By applying a viscoplastic energy model from his developed math-physical medicine approach, he calculates how much energy each factor drains from his potential lifespan. The result? His type 2 diabetes remains the most damaging. Even with good control, his food portion size contributes almost equally, followed closely by his obesity and physical activity. Surprisingly, even 15,000 steps a day doesn't outweigh the impact of earlier dietary excesses, with statistical correlations exceeding 75%, up to 92%, for all four input factors, and a newly developed mathematical equation to calculate his effective health age. He delivers a powerful message: longevity isn't just about avoiding diseases, it is about quantifying and actively managing those influential forces that shape our aging process. His conclusion is both scientific and deeply human. While we cannot change our genes or the passage of time, we can change how we live, and in doing so, we can change how we age. Part 1: Pathophysiological explanation of longevity. Obesity and diabetes are two of the most important chronic conditions related to longevity. They significantly impact overall health and lifespan, due to their strong associations with other mortality diseases, such as cardiovascular disease, CVD, chronic kidney disease, CKD, and various cancers. 1. Obesity, excess body weight, particularly visceral fat, contributes to metabolic dysfunction, systemic inflammation, and insulin resistance. It increases the risk of CVD, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and cancers, all of which reduce longevity. Obesity also negatively affects mobility, respiratory issues, such as sleep apnea, which can lead to sudden death in severe cases, and overall quality of life. Furthermore, according to the World Health Organization, over 650 million adults, 8.8%, were obese in 2016, making it a global epidemic. Studies suggest severe obesity can shorten life expectancy by up to 10 years. 2. Diabetes, primarily type 2 diabetes, chronic high blood glucose levels, lead to complications such as CVD, CKD, neuropathy, and retinopathy. Poor glucose control accelerates aging by increasing oxidative stress, inflammation, and endothelial dysfunction, which contribute to a shorter lifespan. Uncontrolled diabetes can cause diabetic ketoacidosis, DKA, a serious complication of diabetes, usually type 1, which is caused by a lack of insulin, leading to high blood sugar, fat breakdown, and buildup of ketones, which make the blood acidic. The International Diabetes Federation reported approximately 463 million adults, 6.0%, living with diabetes in 2019, a number projected to rise to 700 million, 7.4%, by 2045. Type 2 diabetes, in particular, is linked to a 5 to 10 year reduction in life expectancy. However, while these two conditions are critical, cardiovascular disease, CVD, is the leading cause of death globally, and chronic kidney disease, CKD, or kidney failure, significantly affects longevity, especially in diabetic patients. Cancer also plays a major role in lifespan reduction. In this research, integrating obesity and diabetes with their impacts on CVD, CKD, and cancers would provide a more comprehensive picture of longevity determinants. Obesity is a primary risk factor for type 2 diabetes, and together they amplify the risk of other deadly conditions like heart disease and cancer. This creates a vicious cycle, where each condition worsens the other's impact on health. Unlike some chronic diseases, obesity and diabetes can often be prevented or managed through lifestyle changes, like improved diet and increased exercise, making them critical targets for extending life expectancy. Furthermore, food portion and exercise are two of the most critical lifestyle factors influencing longevity, but they are not the only ones. Unlike genetic factors or environmental exposures, food portion and exercise are choices you can actively manage every day. Here's why they matter. 1. Food portion. Caloric restriction and portion control have been linked to longevity through mechanisms such as reduced oxidative stress, lower inflammation, and improved metabolic efficiency. Balanced macronutrient intake and avoiding excessive sugar and processed foods play a key role in preventing chronic diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, CVD, and cancer. In addition, nutrition quality is also important. Beyond portion size, the nutritional value of food, e.g., whole foods versus processed junk food, matters too. 2. Exercise. Regular physical activity improves cardiovascular health, insulin sensitivity, and mitochondrial function. Walking, e.g., 10,000 steps daily, and moderate intensity exercise reduce visceral fat, regulate glucose, and enhance circulation, directly impacting longevity. Resistance training also helps maintain muscle mass, preventing sarcopenia, a major risk factor for frailty and early mortality in aging populations. The World Health Organization recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week to reduce the risk of premature death. Real-world impact. Exercise is one of the most effective ways to combat age-related decline, enhancing both lifespan and health span, the years lived in good health. However, a holistic approach integrating sleep, stress control, and hydration is essential for maximizing longevity. Some other lifestyle factors also play crucial roles in longevity, such as sleep. Poor sleep is linked to metabolic disorders, increased inflammation, cognitive decline, and higher mortality rates. We should aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. Stress management, chronic stress and high cortisol levels contribute to aging and various chronic diseases. Practices like meditation can help. Hydration. Proper water intake supports cellular function and detoxification. Social connections. Strong social ties are associated with longer life, while loneliness can shorten it. Avoiding harmful habits, smoking and excessive alcohol consumption, are major threats to longevity. Part 2. Validation via math. Physical medicine. Following the traditional biomedical explanation of how 2 chronic conditions, obesity and type 2 diabetes, and 2 lifestyle factors, food portion size and physical activity, influence human longevity. The author now validates these pathophysiological observations through a viscoplastic energy model, grounded in his developed math physical medicine, MPM, approach. This personalized medicine-based analysis is using the longitudinal data collected from the author over a 10-year period. May 15, 2015 to March 20, 2025. This model centers around the concept of effective health age, age, which is computed using the following equation and compared against the author's real biological age, with the metabolism index, MI, serving as the key metric. The relationship between effective health age and real biological age is as follows. Statistical correlations between age, and 4 major health factors. Age versus obesity, M1, 82%. Age versus diabetes, M2, 79%. Age versus food portion, M9A, 76%. Age versus walking steps, M5, 92%. Viscoplastic energy, VMT, contribution ratios. The following energy ratios quantify the relative impact of each input factor on his age using the VMT model, listed in descending order of influence. Type 2 diabetes, M3, 26.4%. Food portion, M9A, 25.3%. Obesity, M1, 24.7%. Walking steps, M5, 23.7%. In the author's case, his type 2 diabetes conditions, though now controlled with an estimated average glucose, EAG, of 100 mg per deciliter and hemoglobin, A1C between 6.0% and 6.5% remains the most influential factor affecting his longevity concerns through health age. It contributes slightly more than his obesity, despite a moderate BMI of 24, but with elevated visceral fat at 16%. Furthermore, his food portion size, initially 1.2 kilograms per meal and now reduced to 300 grams, still has a marginally greater effect than his exercise activity, even though the author has consistently maintained a level of approximately 15,000 walking steps per day for many years. This integrated viscoplastic energy MPM-based validation confirms the traditional biomedical conclusions and quantitatively illustrates the relative impact of each input factor on his longevity. Perspective through viscoplastic energy analysis.